This episode of Talkin' About Rock is sponsored by Unleashed Music. Drawing on years of experience, contacts, and partnerships, Unleashed Music is uniquely positioned to platform, develop, and realize the vision of artists of all genres. Achieve your goals by partnering with Unleashed Music and take advantage of their decades of experience to help you create and execute your marketing campaign. Visit unleashedmusic.com for more info.
On this episode of Talking About Rock, John Cooper from SKILLET. Talk About Rock, sponsored by School of Rock, North Buffalo, where they're making musicians every day. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Here we bring you rock interviews from veteran and upcoming artists. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date. Follow us on our social media and our website, talkingaboutrock.com. Today's guest has been a fixture in rock for over 25 years. His band receives over 9 million streams on Spotify every month. Here to talk with us about the band's upcoming release, Revolution, out November 1st, let's welcome John Cooper from SKILLET to the show. Hello, John. Can you hear me?
What is up? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, thanks for joining us.
How are you?
Good, man. So
it's great to be here. I wish I had a fire behind me like you do. Your fire looks better than my background here.
Just a little tweaking we do there to try to make the show give a little bit of spark there, would you say? So, but yeah, you look good, man. So you're out there. We've been checking out the songs on this latest album, and it's been quoted as saying really there's like a sense of declaration and self-discovery for these songs that are on here. Would you say that kind of describes it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool sounding. I think I like the way you say it better than the way I say it. So first of all, just so people understand where I'm, this is our tour bus, and I was in the dressing room, and the dressing room today is too close to the stage. Seether's up there sound checking. It was so loud, I had to come to the bus, so that's why it looks this way. So hopefully, people get a little inside look to the band on the road. New album called Revolution. Yeah, I think self-discovery is a cool way to say it. It was fun because it's our first independent release we've ever done, and that was kind of nice because we got to have less cooks in the kitchen, which is pretty nice, because we got able to do what we wanted to do, write the songs we want to write, record them the way we want to record them, and win. That was a big key because this is interesting. I was thinking about what month we're in. I think the first song we wrote for this album, we wrote it nearly a year ago, a little bit less than a year ago. That means we wrote, recorded, mixed, and started releasing singles all within 12 months, 11 months, actually. That is unheard of for a SKILLET album. We're usually writing for 2 years and another year to record it. It takes a really long time. I felt this is a poignant record. I think the lyrics are poignant. I think it matters. And I'm like, man, I want to get music out there. So it's expedient, and I really like that. And we got to do what we wanted to do.
Excellent. Yeah. And so I was reading the band's name actually comes from a blending of genres and styles, kind of throwing them all into what you guys are calling a skillet or a frying pan, basically, correct?
Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but I tell people it was the 90s. You got to put yourself in the mode of the 90s because when Nirvana came in and they just hit the music world by storm. And it just kind of blew everything from the 80s away at the time. Now, I grew up in the 80s, and I love 80s music. 80s is still my favorite. Hair bands, Skid Row and Motley Crue and Metallica and all of that. And I love that genre. And then when the 90s came in, all of a sudden it so shifted. And then it was like not cool to care too much about your band name.
Right. Exactly. Right. You had to have that one name. Yeah.
It's true, isn't it? So like all the names got wilder and wilder. So it's Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and Korn. And then all the bands that had like numbers or colors, like Blink 182. So you had all the numbers, and Right? You just didn't want to have to think too much about the name. And somebody said, "Hey, you guys are all from different bands. It's almost like cooking, throwing it in a skillet." And somebody goes, "Dude, you should name your band Skillet. That'd be funny." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. It won't last that long."
Well, who'd have known, right? It took you
Oh
guys
well.
a little bit of time, but you've racked up some definitely great awards and accolades here, man. The list that goes on, you got the award for Rock Song of the Year 2008, Billboard Music Award for Best Christian Album 2011, and Billboard Music Award Christian Album 2020. Do you feel like your music is like in a sense of like spreading the word is Christian rock, would you say?
Mm. Well, I mean, I definitely hope so. I mean, I think that music, um, let's maybe let's not talk about just music. Let's talk about rock music because that's what we're here to talk about. Rock music specifically, in my view, was always about writing something that you believe in, saying something that you feel passionate about. Maybe it's countercultural. Maybe it's just about having a good day, or a bad day, or being in love, or breaking up. Whatever it is, it's supposed to be from the heart. It's supposed to be passion, and that's what rock music always was for me. So certainly, there's an element of I think authenticity that you need in your music, and that's probably why like I just listed you the bands that I still love. There's lots. Most of the music I listen to, they're not singing about necessarily the religious beliefs that I believe in or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's authentic music, and I feel that they believe what they're singing in, and when they believe it, I believe it, and it's cool. That's kind of what music is. So certainly, I think that rock music is a great chance to say something you want to say, and of course, we see that. I mean, the beginnings of rock music as the popular genre in the 50s and 60s. You got a lot of anti-war music that came out at that time, revolutionary music at that time. I would say the civil rights movement had a lot of music involved in it. Music is a catalyst because everybody loves music. It's like a universal language. So certainly, I believe that music matters, and that's why Skillet has always been so vocal about things like suicide awareness and mental health, and we've done partnerships with I don't know, like suicide hotlines or teen hotlines or abuse hotlines, things like that I think really matter. I think rock music helps people and it gives people hope. And certainly part of that hopeful message for me is telling people that they are not alone in the universe. I believe that there is a God who created the world, and he loves you. He's interested in you. And if you're on the brink of suicide or depression or abuse of some sort, either abusing something or being abused by someone or something, that there's a God that is listening, and you can talk to him anytime you want to, and that you matter. Those are important things. There was a time when that was looked at as maybe cheesy for rock music, but I will say that rock music began with that same intent. Elvis was a Christian. Of course, Johnny Cash was a Christian. You see all the gospel. Ray Charles, which really, if you look at rock music, a lot came from the R&B, thing. Ray Charles and people like that, who were also religious people of some persuasion. And in the 70s, you had tons of music that was very spiritual, whether it was necessarily Christian or quote unquote religious. It was singing about God and things that mattered. And so I think that for a break in the 80s and the 90s, that was kind of not cool. I think it's cool again. And I think people are realizing that if you're going to sing about something that's important to you, how can spirituality not be in the mix in some kind of a way? So in that sense, yes, I do think that we're spreading the word, if that's the way we want to say it.
Yeah. I definitely, that's the one thing I love with the power of music, right? It includes people that think they have nowhere to go. They don't have a group of people or friends and music just spreads those messages to so many different people that need that. I think you summed that up great, and definitely. So let's talk a little bit about your latest release, All That Matters. What was the origin and influence for this song? 'Cause it's a great track.
Oh, thank you. That was actually the first song we wrote for the record, funny enough. And I would say it's a little bit different for Skillet. Um, in some ways, it reminds me of some of our older music. We had a song in 2006 called The Older I Get. And this kind of reminds me of The Older I Get a little bit, which is why when I started writing the song, I just had the chorus. My faith, my family, my freedom, that's what's back in me. I had that part. I knew that was the hook. And then I was afraid I was going to mess the song up. And I was like, oh crap. So I called my friend Brian Howes, who produced the Comatose record. And we wrote we wrote the song Awake and Alive together as well. And I said, dude, I got this, I think a really killer hook that really means something special to me. And I don't want to mess it up. And he helped me finish writing it, and then he produced it as well. So that was kind of cool, but it is a little different because it's got a little bit of that Americana feel to it. I don't think it's country by any means, but it's got a little bit of that taste. And this song was really just kind of birthed out of what I see happening in American culture right now. I think a lot of people mistakenly say, hey, we're so polarized when it comes to politics. And of course, we are polarized when it comes to politics, of course. But I don't think that's really the heart of it. I don't think it's that we're polarized about politics. I think we're polarized about is America and Western civilization actually a good thing anymore? Is freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom to worship the way you want to worship, or freedom not to worship, things like that. Are these things worth fighting for, or are they not? Who's going to raise your kids? Who's going to be in charge of what your kids learn at school? Who's going to be in charge of the things I put in my body? Stuff like that. Is that going to be me, or is that going to be some sort of state entity? Not to delve too into that, but those are not partisan issues. To me, those are things of, hey, do you still think that America is a good place? Is this a country we're fighting for? Or is it not a country we're fighting for? And to me, that is simple to answer. Yes, this is a great country. I want to fight for it. I want to fight for Western civilization as well. And that's all that matters to me. My faith, my family, my freedom. The world can go crazy, but I'm going to keep standing on those things. And I think that's why it's so special to me. There's a line. The song starts with a line that says, I don't want to start a fight. I always try to do what's right. Put your weapons down. We can work it out, but don't get me wrong. I ain't no pacifist. And I think that that's important. I think a lot of people feel like that. I don't want to be fighting with people. I don't want to be arguing with people, but if you're coming after my family, then we got to do what we got to do. And again, I think that is also part of the greatness of Western civilization and individual liberties and things like that. So it's quite a personal song to me.
Yeah, definitely. I think these are all so many things that so many people are struggling with and thinking about today. And I think it's a great track. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll play the video on the track for All That Matters. We'll be right back here with John Cooper from Skillet on Talking About Rock.
I don't want to start a fight. I always try to do what's right. So put your weapons down, we can work it out. Don't get me wrong, I ain't no pacifist. For peace gotta pay a price. I'll defend what is mine. Fight for what I love, help me God above. All it takes is one to rise up and resist. Cost you everything when you're at war. These three things I die for. My faith, my family, my freedom, that's what's backing me. Gives me a reason for living. I gotta fight for what I believe in, love, loyalty, I pledge fidelity. In this land of liberty is everything. My faith, my family, my freedom's all that matters to me. A kid arrested in the town. He read the verses too loud, but burn the cities down. Celebs will bail you out when we go wrong. I can't make sense of this, so just leave the kids alone. Better not break into this home, cause where I come from, we always stand as one. Where we belong, we won't stand for this. Cost you everything when you're at war. These three things I die for. My faith, my family, my freedom, that's what's backing me. Gives me a reason for living.
Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with John Cooper from Skillet, man. Great stuff, man. So we're waiting for the new album. It's definitely Revolution. It's kind of like a celebration, really. It's coming out November 1st. We're talking a little bit about this earlier. I mean, the world seems there's so many issues, political, spiritual. We kind of talked about this a little bit. What do you do to try to keep yourself centered with all this kind of chaos going on around us?
Mm. Yeah, it is a very, very volatile time. I mean, again, whatever political persuasion you are, um, it's not good. In fact, it's terrible. You know, we've had two assassination attempts against former President Trump. Political violence, terrible. Whatever side it's on, it's a horrible thing. We do not want to see that in this country. We have the highest levels of teen suicide in recorded American history, the highest levels of depression, loneliness. I think just a few years ago, was 2022, I think it was, the Biden administration, the Surgeon General, what do you call it when he said we have a health crisis of loneliness? I forget the actual terminology, but you may remember that. So the Biden administration came out and said, we actually have it. This is a crisis. Loneliness. It is an epidemic. And they were right about that. There is a lot going on. To me, I think it's just to do with, as you say, not being grounded, not having any unity, because you can't just say, guys, we have unity, everybody be nice to each other.
Right.
Unity is not really necessarily a feeling. You have to unify around something. We're going to unify around common principles. So for me, when it comes to being grounded, as you said, there's a few things there. And my faith certainly plays into that. And I'm not going to get preachy. Nobody worry. But there are these two great principles. And it is this: love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And a lot of people don't know that actually when Jesus said that, he says the first one, love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, strength. And then he says, but the second commandment is like it. In other words, the second commandment is just as important, but it is built on the first one. You begin to love your neighbor. That means if people yell at you on social media, you don't need to yell at them back. If they hate you and they make fun of you, you don't need to make fun of them back. You treat people the way you want to be treated. And sometimes I think for me, and by the way, I don't always do good at that. I screw it up all the time. But one of the things I think that just helps me is to understand that people really are suffering. They're suffering from so many various things, and sometimes they just lash out, and they don't know why they're lashing out, but they're just lashing out, and they just need to be forgiven. They need to be given a second chance, and you just need to be like, hey, I don't really know what's going on with them, but I'm not going to meet them with hatred. I'm going to treat them with kindness, no matter what that looks like. So as trite as that may sound to some people, it's not trite. That is an entire worldview. And if you get up every single day and you try to say, okay, today I'm going to try to live right, I'm going to treat my neighbors the way I want to be treated, you're going to mess up because you're human. I mess up all the time. But I think it's a fantastic way to live. And in the rock community, I personally think that the rock community does a really good job of this because, I play rock. I mean, it's all I do all year long. I play rock shows and I see fans. And I see people that come that are Democrats and Republicans and independents and religious people and non-religious people. And they all come together for rock concerts. Right. Everybody treats each other good. We never have fist fights at our rock concerts.
Because that's the power of great music, right? Is to band people together, right?
That's what it seems like to me. People come and they look out for each other. And so I actually mean this. I kind of feel like maybe all the people in Washington, D.C., should take a few days off, come out to see what rock concerts are like and find out how Americans actually do treat each other, and then set some new standards. I think that'd be a good thing because I think the rock community does pretty dang well at that.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many groups of people that are divided right now on so many different issues. We need inclusion and understanding is what we need. And like you were saying, if they need to go listen to some music to do that or go to some shows to help that understanding, bridge that gap, and then maybe that's what we need to see happen. Definitely.
Nothing wrong with that. And most importantly, go out and pre-order the new Skillet record. This record's going to make you feel, I think it's going to make you feel understood. You're going to be like, Skillet, get it. I feel the same way. It's a very positive record. Doesn't shy away from the volatility, the feelings of volatility and the turmoil, but it is not an angsty record. It's just a very confident record that we need to write a new script here, and we can do that, and we can stand up for what we believe at the same time as have a revolution of love, a spiritual revolution, to where we begin to hold on to the things that are important to us and to love people who disagree with us. I think we can do that. So go pre-order or buy the new Skillet album, Revolution.
Excellent. So you guys are already out on tour with Seether. Obviously, they're out there doing sound check, but you guys are going overseas, I guess, for the remainder of the year, right, as well?
Yeah, we are. We're going to the Middle East for the first time, which is, to me, crazy. I never, ever imagined we'd go to the Middle East. And the opportunity came up. We have a lot of fans there. And I began to notice that because when we tour Europe, we do, VIPs and whatnot. And there were always people flying in from the Middle East. It was crazy. They'd be like, I flew in from Dubai to come see your show because you never come see us. They'd fly into Germany or UK or something like that. So I'm kind of quite excited about it, about going to a brand new territory that's never heard us live. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time in the UK as well.
Excellent. That sounds so great. Well, everyone out there, you can check out the dates for Skillet at their website, skillet.com. The new album, Revolution, out November 1st. We'd like to thank my guest today, John Cooper from Skillet, for being with us. So great, man. We'd like to thank our sponsors, School of Rock North Buffalo and Unleashed Music. And to all our listeners, remember, wherever you are, we hope you support live music to help us keep the torch alive. Thank you so much, John, for being with us, man.
I loved it. Thank you, brother.